It is 6 o'clock Central and on the dot. I mean, because I like to be punctual. And this beautiful lady was punctual. We were here. Welcome to your comedy bestie. It is your homegirl, Erica Switzer. And I am here joined by the lovely Tulsa, Oklahoma based Charity Jones. How are you today?
Woo! I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, I shouldn't say fantastic. I was just telling Charity how lovely she looked before we went live. Okay, giving us the coral lip. All right, hair fully on wave. Let's go. And you said you just freshened up from work.
I did. I ran in, threw on some powder, did some lipstick, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to
Okay,
go.
now, and that's how you keep it nice and effortless. Your girl was wrestling in the restroom with all of this hair and trying to figure out how to wrangle it. So, what happened was it didn't get wrangled. It just got banded, and we are rolling.
Hey, that works. You look great. That works.
we
I
are,
was I was
we
telling you,
are
I saved my hair wash day for today so that my hair was a little calmer. So this is
fi-
my fresh hair look. It doesn't look like this on day 3 through 5, but
as beach waves in a landlocked state, baby. There it is. It's lovely. It's really sexy. It's really nice.
well, thank
And
you. Thank you.
for people that don't know me, I grew up poor and broke and bullied. And so I'm cool with telling other women they look beautiful all day and all night. It ain't no, oh, I'm trying to, hey, what you doing after this show? No, it ain't none of that. Ain't no
Yeah,
weird stuff. I just really enjoy celebrating other women. If you can't take some time out of your day to tell somebody they look good, something might be wrong with you.
that's right. I'm a big compliment giver. I compliment people's outfits, their nails, their hair. I think it makes ourselves feel better and it makes others feel better. So
Absolutely. Take a moment to make somebody feel good today. It don't cost nothing.
that's right. That's right.
Well,
Love
without
is free.
further, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said that's right. Love is free.
Absolutely. So, without further ado, Charity, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, like you said, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I grew up in Arkansas. Um, I just moved to Oklahoma. It'll be 2 years in July. So I wanted to move to a big city. Um, and Tulsa was about 2 hours from my hometown. So it was the first time I'd ever moved away. And I've been loving it. I've been loving all the comedy here. Comedy's huge in Tulsa.
Nice.
We've got an open mic just about every night, weeknight anyway. Saturday and well, Sunday has a open mic down at Cellar Dweller. Um, so yeah, the comedy scene is hopping. There's tons of people, new people coming in all the time. And yeah, my day job, I'm a speech therapist. I work with kids and adults. I do a rehab facility, and then I cover a few hospitals. So life is busy, but life is good.
Okay, excellent. It's always cool to meet other comedians in the care industry or in the healthcare industry specifically. Um, and I did just want to ask real quick. I know Shanghai, I'm sorry, Tulsa is a huge place. Shanghai, China is also a huge place. By any chance, do you happen to know Cade Moore?
I do not. But like I said, I'm pretty new. So,
And that's fine. Cade's an oldie but goodie. Knowing Cade, he can be in Mongolia right now. I have no idea.
well,
But
I'll have to look him up.
very funny comic that I know from Tulsa, who I also met in Shanghai. But so, can you tell us a little bit more about how your day job informs your comedy?
Well, I haven't taken my job to the stage yet. It's been a weird, I don't know how to balance that just yet. I feel like, I don't want to get into anything that's patient confidentiality on stage. And I just haven't mixed those two worlds. There's a few patients I see that know I do comedy, but for the most part, I just kind of keep it under wraps. But yeah, but I at some point I'm going to be comfortable enough to talk about some of it on stage because I'm also a swallowing specialist, so that could lead to many jokes. Lots of material there.
Do you have any current material on swallowing?
I do not.
Okay,
No.
so we'll
No.
table that. We'll come back in about 50 episodes and we'll
Yeah.
catch up and see if Charity started to implement the day job into her comedy. Uh, when did you know you wanted to do stand up?
Well, it just kind of fell in my lap, honestly. I was I'm sure some of the listeners have heard this story, but I was on a board for a nonprofit and was setting up a fundraiser for the nonprofit at a bar. We were actually gonna put on a comedy night, and they were having an open mic night there. And so my friend kept saying, "You should get up there. You should get up there. You should go do it. Tell one of your stories." Because I'm typically the one at a party or any gathering to tell stories, and there's always something they want me to talk about. But so yeah, she pressured me, and they kept asking if anybody else wanted to sign up, and so I did. And I didn't know about the light. They didn't tell me about the light. I had never done comedy before, and so I my first set was 23 minutes. Which I'm sure if I went back and looked at it now, I'd probably be mortified. But um, yeah, I learned quickly that that's frowned upon to run the light. So
So you did
that
your first Netflix special the first time you went up.
yeah. And that was back in 2020. And someone sent the video to somebody here in Tulsa, and they asked me to come on a storyteller show. And
Nice.
so I did that, and it was a sold out show. And then they put that on their podcast, that episode, just mine. So there was 4 comedians that night, and I got picked to be on their podcast. So they put my story on the podcast. And then I had several bookings after that. And then the country shut down about 3 days later. So
Yeah.
I didn't get to do any of the bookings, and that was kind of the end. And then I just got back into it here in Tulsa. So I haven't been doing it really that long.
Well, that's unfortunate that the Pandarino postponed so many people's plans, but it's awesome that you're back out there and getting it. Um, and that's a heck of a way to get started. So you mentioned you've always been kind of a storyteller. Can you give us some background on that?
Oh, I feel like I've just always loved entertaining. Growing up, I grew up in the church and always wanted to be in choir, always went for the lead roles in the plays or any function. If they needed to volunteer for anything, I just I just loved the spotlight, loved the stage. And but yeah, we were having girls' night there for a while. There was 15, sometimes 20 girls that would get together once a month at someone's house. We would take turns. And that's kind of how it started. Somebody'd say, "Charity, tell the story about." Well, it started with I went to a concert by myself. Travis Scott.
All
I went
right.
to a Travis Scott concert and about got mauled by the crowd because he always tells people to come into the pit in the front, and so yeah, I about got ran over by thousands of teenagers and 20-year-olds at a Travis Scott concert. So it started there, and that was the story I told at the open mic and the story I told on the storyteller episode. So
Okay, so you survived. Was this after the bad thing?
no, this was before. So I
Ooh.
haven't told that story since the bad thing because I felt like that could be disrespectful or perceived as disrespectful.
Nah, I
So
understand, but that's just really terrifying to like get a premonition of some stuff. Like,
it was really terrifying. I mean, yeah, it was dangerous. But
the the
and I was
only
probably
thing
the oldest one out there.
the only thing I can compare that to is riding the Shanghai metro. Just
So what
in
were
the,
you doing in Shanghai? Were you in the service or?
I was teaching. I was teaching English, and for the first couple of years, I was teaching Chinese and Chinese national kids at like a training center,
Oh,
also known
nice.
as an after school, basically, helping to boost their English. And then um, the next 2 years, I was working at the French International School. So
Oh, nice. That sounds
yeah,
like an amazing experience.
it was a one of a kind experience. I'll say that for sure. But just the idea of being in a stampede, like I said, the only thing I can think of, which makes me claustrophobic thinking about it, is being packed like sardines on the metro and undulating our bodies together as one mass, getting onto the platform and up to the escalator as we
Oh
all got
yeah.
to work at the same time.
I think that would be very anxiety ridden.
Oh yeah. Talk about immersion. That was immersion for me for sure. Uh, since you've gotten back into the swing of things, and you mentioned that Tulsa has a nice scene where just about every night of the week you can get your reps in. Where are some of the places you performed?
I'm typically at Bricktown Comedy Club, and the Tulsa has a Bricktown. It's part of Bark Entertainment. Um, and I do their open mic once or twice a week. I used to be an avid every Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, attendee, but now I've cut back a little bit since I've been so busy. But yeah, so I like Bricktown. It's got a great stage. It's a professional atmosphere. It's good to practice, you know, with the lighting and, you know, a real stage. And but then there's lots of bar ones that are cool too. Like I said, Sunday night is Cellar Dweller and downtown, and then Mondays we have a new open mic at Jumpin' Jays. It's in West Tulsa. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays is Bricktown, and then I believe Hunt Club downtown, and then Wednesdays I can't remember. I usually just do Bricktown because I'm old. And then Thursday nights, there's Mama's House, your Mama's House. They have an open mic, and I don't think there's one Friday. So yeah, Friday and Saturday are mainly shows, but yeah.
And that sounds like an awesome just setup too, because I've definitely heard of Hunt Club and Bricktown. Um, and you said Bricktown is awesome to get the reps in because they have all the lighting and the stage and all that.
Yeah, and you get the walk-up music, and it's got a handicap accessible ramp, and so the timing to enter the stage is a little bit different. You know, you've got to walk all the way up that ramp. Um, and it's a really large room, so just practicing, you know, being at the side of the stage when it's about your turn and doing all the things. And your walk-up music, you know, you can pick your music if you want. They typically just play whatever, but you know, not all the bar open mics, you get the music and you don't get the timing, you know, if you're just sitting right there in front of the mic.
Right.
You don't get to practice all that. And that's something I've really tried to focus on in the last few months is just my professionalism and stage presence and, you know, never leaving the stage blank. You know, if the host is starting to come off, if it's a new host and they're starting to come off the stage, I try to time myself to where I'm on the stage, you know, to where there's the stage is never left alone. So I've just been trying to be very aware of those things and work on those. And I think Bricktown's a great place to do it. The other thing I really like about comedy there is that you have to sign up in a month in advance. Signups close on the 15th for the next month. So like the June open mic, you have to sign up by May 15th. So there's about 9 more days of signups left. And I like that because I'm a planner and my life is always busy. And, you know, and I know where I'm at on the list. I don't show up and there's 30 people and I'm number 31. And, you know, it's just better for my planning and how I do life. So I like that.
Got you. What influences your comedy? Since you mentioned your day job isn't included yet, what actually influences it?
Just my life experiences. I've traveled a lot. I'm pretty carefree, so I've had a lot of crazy experiences. I do talk about other jobs. I've had a lot of work experience in different fields. I was a secretary for a while. I've had a ton of jobs, so I do incorporate, you know, my work life, but not my current career.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Um,
And my kids. I have twins.
ooh,
They're
okay.
yeah, they're 22. They just turned 22 last month. Um, so yeah, I talk about a little bit about them.
Are they still at
And
home?
no, No,
Okay.
everyone has their own place. Well, and that was one of the motivators to moving to Tulsa, is that I'd become an empty nester and was like, well, if I'm going to live alone, I can live alone 2 hours away.
Wow. Okay. So, with being an empty nester, what other changes are you enjoying?
Oh, life has just been so fun. I enjoy deciding if I want to eat dinner or not. That's been a real pleasure. I can have cereal now for dinner if I want to. I can skip it altogether. Um, gosh, I don't know. My kids are great. I mean, I don't feel like life slowed down because I had kids, but um, I've traveled a lot. I don't have to worry about anybody else's schedule. That's probably the most freeing thing. Is, the only thing I have to arrange is for the dogs, and so
And
I've
that's pretty
enjoyed
easy.
that. Yeah, I've taken a lot of trips here in the last 6 months, probably. Mainly for comedy, but some for vacation or pleasure.
Okay. So, can you tell us some of the different places you've been to lately for comedy?
I can. Gosh, I'd have to look at my planner. I went to San Antonio and did a 4-day festival, the Femme Comedy Fest at Upstage Comedy Lounge. That was amazing. That was so fun. I made so many connections and met so many amazing women. That was great for networking, women all over the country. Um, I went to Vegas. That was the most recent one. And I did comedy, a little bar show at To Kill a Little Time. And then I was a guest spot for the Comedy Rumble at Wise Guys. So a real comedy club in Vegas. I was so excited. So excited. Where else have I been? Gosh. It feels like I went a lot of places, but now I can only think of 2. I'm going to Michigan in July to do some comedy
Okay.
out on Edmond Island, I think. It's like an RV campground. I don't know. It's an island. And they have a lot of ATVs and a stage and a pizza place. So I'm going to try that out in July. And I went to New York. I did comedy in January. I went to the American Comedy Institute and did a workshop, a week-long workshop there. And then our graduation performance was at Gotham Comedy Club. So that was an experience of a lifetime.
Congratulations to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. That was huge. We were in the vintage lounge downstairs. And so I really want to go back and do it upstairs at the big stage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gotham is a special place. There is a little like comedy magic or something in the air, like as soon as you walk through that threshold.
Oh, I about cried. I was teared up. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. Can't believe I'm here.
Yeah, there's something a little extra special in those New York halls. And walking in those streets too, there's something special. And we had connected just before I had gotten there for the Black Women in Comedy Laugh Festival at the end of this February that just passed. I didn't perform at Gotham this time, but I performed there the first time I did that festival, which was awesome.
Nice.
Not the big stage, but the nice little velvet lounge and
Mhm.
I like that little speakeasy vibe.
Yeah.
But you're right. Once you get there and it's like, I want to feel that big stage.
Yeah. Oh, bless you.
Big allergies. Big allergies. We're keeping that.
How did your festival go?
Oh, that festival was great. The second night of the festival was the comedy rap battle, and it was awesome. I got one of the longest laugh breaks I've ever gotten in my 8-year stand-up career, all by telling the audience about my opponent, who was a big, tall lady with a big golden afro. I know this is supposed to be the festival for Black women, but how the hell y'all got me up here battling Richard Simmons?
That's great.
And to have folks in New York for almost a minute straight, like, hey, yo, son.
Hey, New York's a tough crowd. That's a tough crowd.
I know there was this Breakfast Club clip of Mike Epps that had gone a little viral a month or two ago, where he said people think New York is the tough place, Chicago's the hardest place to get laughs, and I got to attest to that because right under a repost of that by a very funny comedian that I adore was a couple of folks that said, "Yes, we come to the club ready to laugh if you ain't hidden." And if you ain't hidden, then they'll at least laugh at your outfit. The crowd in Chicago is sometimes ready to roast the performer. You have to like really be on your stuff here. So no, it was a blessing to craft something that's funny here, and then have it get big laughs in New York. So
Yeah.
but it was a very fun festival. The Best of Fest winner was Joe King from Las Vegas, and she is a phenom. When she did her bars for the rap battle, she came with some Lauryn Hill vibes, and I was like, "Yo, have you had a recording contract before?" Like, she was legitimately funny, but legitimately so polished. She sings like a bird. She raps amazingly. She just so super talented.
Now,
And
does she spell her name with like EUX?
yep,
Okay. I've connected with her over Facebook.
yes, Jordan
She's
Joe King Parks. That's her.
I've been thinking about signing up for her writing classes that she keeps posting about. Yeah, I feel
do.
like you do.
I know. I'm just saying. I
Oh, they
would
favor me. Yeah,
if I had money. If I wasn't broke. See,
I know.
the way I
Go ahead.
don't be broke is if you guys watch this and you tell other people about it and they start watching too, and then you all subscribe, and then you all keep watching and subscribing me and charity stuff, and that's how we all win.
That's right.
It's
right.
free. All you got to
Subscribe
do is
now.
just take some time, babies. That's all. Like,
That's
share,
right.
and subscribe.
It's free to hit that button.
Very free to hit that button. Um, I'm gonna do a little something different. I'm gonna go ahead and play my little game with you right now.
Ooh, okay.
This little game of mine I like to call Who You Got.
Okay.
So Wanda Sykes or Whoopi Goldberg?
Wanda.
Okay. Gilda Radner or Jane Curtin?
Gilda.
Good shots. All right. Joan Rivers or Carol Burnett?
Oh, Carol Burnett.
All right now. I see what you did there. Alex Borstein or Deborah Wilson?
Deborah Wilson.
Okay. I know it was a tricky one.
You're
It's tricky if you
getting
start
hard.
considering Family Guy, then okay. But I gotta say, Deborah's the GOAT for me when it comes to TV sketch comedy, especially. Deborah's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Taylor Tomlinson or Jordan Jensen?
Jordan Jensen. I have such a girl crush on Jordan Jensen.
I gotta agree. Taylor, I used to love you. I mean, I still like you a lot, but like Jordan, I'll let me go.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa.
In fact, when I was in New York, I went to Comedy Cellar to see her, and then she wasn't the headliner. I don't know I guess she got pulled to another show maybe or something, but I was so disappointed she wasn't there.
Yeah, it's really dope too to be there and to see them in the wild at the Comedy Cellar. It's a one of a kind experience. It's very.
It was probably for the best. I would have fangirled so hard.
Who was your host that night? I'm just wondering.
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot. I'd have to look up her name.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you.
Oh, no worries. I just know some of them over there, and I just wanted to shout a few of them out if I could have, but that's all right. I got two more for you.
Okay.
Deborah DiGiovanni or Jess Curson?
Deborah.
Ooh, okay. All right. Last one. Chelsea Handler or Nikki Glazer?
Oh, Chelsea all the way. 100%. Sorry, Nikki.
I figured you'd say that. And I wanted to dig in a little bit into your love of Chelsea Handler.
Okay. Well, I just went and saw her in Vegas a couple weeks ago. And I was starstruck. That was amazing. Yeah. I manifested opening for her one day while I was there. We'll see. Chelsea, if you're tuning in, it's part of my dreams.
Okay, so while you were there and you were feeling it, did
Oh
you?
yeah, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get up there, and open for her. I see it. I see myself on that stage.
You could see it, but were you feeling it?
Oh, I felt it through my bones.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because when I'm sometimes look, things do happen. If you believe in this kind of thing, I think you got to get it in your bones. I think you got
Hmm.
to get your cells used to it. You got to get your skin ready to experience it, even if it is the hot flash, the rush before you tell that first joke. You got to, you got to lean into it. It's one of
Yeah.
those things that kept me um, at that first comedy festival I did in Mongolia, and it's one of the things that keeps me to this day, even doing the fest in New York. How do I want to feel at the end of that set? Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me more about you and Chelsea.
Oh, well, I'm about to read her or listen to her book. I'm a big Audible fan. Um, right now I'm on the let them theory, and I can hardly stand it because I'm so ready to get to Chelsea's book. The I'll have what she's having. I think it's been out for a while, but I now have an hour drive to work and an hour drive back. So I've been listening to lots of books. But yeah, I'm so excited to get to her book.
So
But yeah,
I could just see you on the commute now. All right, Mel. Okay. All right. I get it. Right.
but I guess my most viewing experience is probably Chelsea lately.
Okay.
You know,
Which was a great show, especially for the run that it had on E.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I love her skiing in her bathing suit for her birthdays and taking all her friends and strapping on the dogs, and she's just a free spirit that I feel like I
That's
connect with.
it's legendary at this point. I'm always looking for her birthday
I
picture.
know.
Not on no perv stuff. Again, just to celebrate Chelsea out there being free. It makes us feel free at the same time in a way, right?
Yeah, and she just turned 50. Like, what an what an encouragement. I mean, she's out there skiing in a bathing suit and looking good in it
Okay.
at 50. I don't think I'd be too scared I'd hurt my knees.
I know that's right. I do try to take care of myself. I try to go to the gym and all that, but the last time I went, I banged the heck out of my knee with a 25-pound weight. So, yeah, I'm just going to imagine myself looking dope at 50. Uh, but good on Chelsea, and thank you for sharing that. Um, and I also wanted to say I did my research. I was watching Unpacking the Meat, Unloading the Meat. Yeah,
Unloading meat. Yeah.
Unloading the Meat. What what happened to your socials?
Oh, back in December, I I think it was really my fault. I had posted a ton of flyers, and I was doing a show at Bricktown, and I put my cutout sticker on their flyer, and I kept getting all of these copyright notifications, and I thought, well, maybe it's because I put it on top of Bricktown's logo, you know. And so I thought, well, maybe this is real. And they kept sending me, it's going to be, your account's going to be deleted if you don't appeal and all this stuff. And I thought, that looks fake. It looks fake. It looks fake. Well, then they sent me an email. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it's real if they're sending me an email. And so I didn't click on it on my phone. I put it into my work computer. And I pulled up the appeal form, and it all looked legit. It had Meta, logo and all the things. So I filled it out, and within seconds, I was hacked. And I was on the phone with an IT friend and was like, "What do I do? I don't know if I did, if you should have done this, you know." And he was like, "Go to your whatever settings and blah blah blah, and see if you've got other accounts attached to your account." And there was like 6 new accounts attached to mine, and then I got all these notifications that I had inappropriate content, and basically their inappropriate accounts linked to mine. It shut every account I had down.
That is
Well,
terrible.
Instagram and Facebook, all the Meta accounts. Yeah, just gone. Gone. So no more memories popping up of the kids growing up, it was so sad. And there's people all across the country and internationally that I still can't connect with because their Facebooks are so locked down. And then there's people that think I'm a copied page, because they were already friends with me. And so I'm hoping it's been 5 months now. Well, it was at the end of December, so almost 5 months. I'm hoping eventually all these people will realize I'm gone and find me again. There's a friend I have in San Francisco that it's just killing me. I don't have her phone number. We don't have mutual friends, and I can't request her. Her Facebook's so locked down, and she can't receive my messages. And I just really hope if Allison Mernon hears this, maybe she'll find me on Facebook again. But yeah, it's been sad.
Allison Mernon, can you please reach out to Charity Jones at Instagram at least?
That's right. And I just started a TikTok. I did find her on TikTok, but it won't let me send her a message.
Found you on TikTok. This poor lady's been through, so we got to make sure that we help to restore what's been lost, y'all.
I know. I had 5,000 Instagram followers. I'm finally back to 1,200. But at least this time I pretty much know the majority of people on my Instagram.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's been a lot of work. But at least now, all my social media just looks like I'm a professional comedian because there's no history of any other anything else. So
guys, please make sure you follow Charity on Instagram at Charity Jones Comedy. Up on the screen right now. So you can know, yes, this is her. It really is her. She really did have her old account deleted and messed around with, as you just heard. And she is back up and at 'em in Tulsa and all over the place. Y'all. Charity,
thank you.
Do you have any other parting words for us?
If anybody out there is thinking about doing comedy, just go to an open mic and get up there and try it. And I think for the beginners, it's important to say you don't have to stay. If it's a 4 or 5 minute set, you can walk off at 2. If you decide you don't like it and you want to walk away, you can walk away. But I just encourage anybody that wants to get up there, to challenge themselves and go to an open mic. Do it.
Please do it.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
That's right.
Usually for worse, but do it.
Well, and hey, once you get there, it's usually you think, oh, I can be just as funny or just as bad as these people.
Oh, girl.
Should I have said that?
No, you can say that. That's the perfect time to say that. I just want to gauge, and this is before I let you go, because I know Chicago, being Chicago, has its share of edgelords and douchebags and other assorted below the belt holes that love getting on mics and shouting obscenities, saying the things you shouldn't say, et cetera, without putting any craft to it. Do you encounter the same in Tulsa?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like that everybody that gets into it, they go through 6 months at least of shock comedy, just wanting to shock the crowd. And you can get a laugh from a shocking statement, but it's not as genuine as a real joke, I feel like, or a well-crafted joke that doesn't have any down punches or any shock value. I mean, every joke needs a little twist or a turn or surprise, but it doesn't have to be take your breath away. If you get a I wouldn't do that one again.
Okay. There's a couple of guys I know that rubbed me the wrong way at a show recently doing guest spots where they were informed by the showrunner, don't D and P the audience to death. They don't want a sexually suggestive show or something that's overly graphic. Those two guys got up there and D'd and P'd them to death. And then I had to get up there. So that was fun.
Oh, yeah. You had to re-energize, bring the broom back.
I'm not about to tell y'all none of that. I'm talking about French kids learning how to say finna. Come on, man.
Well, and that was great about, I don't know if you felt the same way about doing that all-female comedy festival. I was like, It was so refreshing to have 4 days of comedy and no D jokes. I mean, some of it got a little raunchy still, of course, but it was just bliss in my
Even if
mind.
they were thoughtfully crafted and curated by the person that delivered it on that stage.
That's right.
I know
Yeah.
a handful of performers who were there at that one, including Terry and Trinidad, Jess Martinez. Was Jess there or was Janice there too? I forget.
Janice was there.
Janice was there. Okay, that's
Yep.
what. Yeah, my homegirls were there. I know they got some top-notch D jokes. They're just awesome anyway. But yeah, there was a totally different energy. It's a different vibe, and I got to say, folks, if you're watching, support female-only shows. Support female-only festivals. It's a different energy. It's a different environment. Don't sit here thinking that we're just doing Lilith Fair for comedy. We're not just holding hands and knitting and casting rainbows and wearing crystals. We're not doing that. We're doing actual stuff, doing actual jokes, actual material, not just working out our childhood traumas. Nevertheless, Charity, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and spending this time with you. And again, please make sure to follow Charity at Instagram at Charity Jones Comedy. We'll see
thank
you
you,
back
Erica.
here next week. I think I'm going to be the guest.
Oh, I think you should.
It's either going to be me or KB Marion. We'll figure it out. Whoever it's going to be, it's going to be a black woman getting interviewed. I don't know. I just feel like it. Anyway, this has been your Comedy Bestie with Erica Switzer and Charity Jones. See you next week. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you.